And we have the opportunity with our collective consciousness to prevent bad things from happening. And she was really stressing this hard about how we have to learn to do more meditation together and learn collective consciousness and become the salt of the earth to avoid all of the gloom and doom and see it as a rebirth and be the third eye, Christ consciousness, that is going to do the cleansing.
I agree with almost everything you've said. That I believe that the message that's being given by most of us that want the very best outcome is that we have to pull together. And number two, I think we have to get clear about some of the science. I mean, we have to understand a little more about quantum physics because we realize how deeply connected everything is to our consciousness and that this is processed through the poles of the earth and through the sun. It resonates with the sunspot cycles. And, you know, some of that energy, that negativity, I believe, is what we see in the dark sunspots. I think that magnetic field energy that's being blown off is just simply a temper tantrum. And if you look at the Azteca sun calendar, you see that the sun is sticking its tongue out at us, and I get the biggest kick out of that because it's just feeding back, you know, what goes around comes around in terms of energy.
Do you get this feeling, John, of some kind of impending something, as so many people feel right now?
I do on some days, to be quite honest with you, George. I have had those feelings, but I always go, okay, you know, what's going on with me? What's going on in my life? What do I need to process? So I try to center myself. Then I do look at major news events. I'll look at the wire services. You know, is there a great something going on politically, militarily? Has there been a geophysical event? Has there been a sunspot? Has there been a solar storm? I look at all this before I jump to any kind of speculative conclusion about, you know, if it's, you know, something looming on the horizon. But once you center yourself and you still get that feeling, then I pay more attention to it, and then I go looking for more information. Hit the websites, for example, that will be talking about Earth changes, see if there's a pattern there. Are there more people picking up on that event?
All right, next up, let us go to Kevin, International Line in Canada. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, George. How's it going? Nice to talk to you again.
Thank you.
And hello, John.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, I want to ask you. I flatlined about 10 years ago. It's going to be 10 years come August. And when I flatlined and I was clinically dead, I did not see anything. How can you explain how somebody could flatline yet not have a near-death experience?
Well, there's a lot of different theories, but my personal opinion on that, did you believe in any afterlife event would take place should something like that happen to you, first of all?
Absolutely. I totally believe in it, and I still believe in it to this day. I think I spoke with George about this a few weeks ago, about the fact that I did a bit of remote viewing myself. I'm not really... I
remember that, sure.
Yeah, I'm not very proficient at it, but yeah, I've done it. I totally believe in it, totally. But when I flatlined, God, it's going to be almost 10 years already. And I didn't have any near-death experience whatsoever.
Well, one of the things that happens to all of us when we flatline, when we've really transitioned, is there can be this transition phase. I've talked to many near-deathers who really went into a void or an emptiness, and there was nothing going on, and the only thing that triggered their event was they went, "My God, I must be dead." So they had this revelation, this idea, just permeated their consciousness that there must be something else, and that startled them into the classic near-death scenario. So, yeah, I mean, just like anything else, there's a set of circumstances. There's a biological mechanism in the third eye, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, the Dr. Rick Strassman. So, by the way, I'd recommend his book, DMT, The Spirit Molecule, if you're interested in the science of this. Yep. And, that's what I think is going on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, John. No, finish.
Well, I just think that, that's where we're at, that it just depends. The moment of death is, really a sacred event. And, there's just so much going on biochemically that, if you were, how long were you clinically dead?
He's on hold somewhere, John. Go ahead.
Okay.
You talk about Kundalini a lot.
Right.
That's what? It's a energy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Hindu take on, what we'd call the life force or the elixir, the spirit. That would be one way to look at that. And the Kundalini idea is that at the base of our spine, there's this coiled energy source potential that's there that can rise up through the spine and the chakra systems, meaning the endocrine glands, all the way from the base of the spine to the third eye, pituitary gland. So it's quite a rush, as people that have been through it say. I've had something similar like that happen to me spontaneously, and that was part of the process where I did open up to this larger minefield on a couple occasions, I guess, in my earlier years. But Kundalini, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Well, when we come back, we'll finish up with final phone calls at the top of the hour, John Jay Harper. And I just think that there's a way out for all of us, don't you?
I sure hope so, George. Let's keep working on that idea.
Well, we've got to, because if we don't think that way, then we'll never get out of this mess, will we?
That's right.
Stick with us. John Jay Harper is next with your final phone calls for the hour on Coast to Coast AM. Indeed, and we'll be back. John Jay Harper, our special guest, and of course we'll take your phone calls right here on Coast to Coast AM. John, isn't it interesting the similarities between the Mayan pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids, that tie-in?
Yeah, absolutely. The same geometry that we're talking about in hyperdimensional physics and, Richard Hoagland kind of stuff is right on target with what I'm talking about. And what we're dealing with is this new energy, this higher level of energy that's cascading now perhaps through the entire solar system. And, I wanted to say a thing about trance state. One of the things that happens to people at death is they basically faint. They're not used to going into this higher vibration state of trance that the shaman can do through drumming and through fasting and through rituals such as the sun dance, which is extremely strenuous. But you can get there through stress or you can get there through disciplined thought. But the point is that at death, it's so important to know what's coming. And this is where the shaman helps us walk between worlds. This is why the shaman, being in the presence of someone at this higher energy state, is going to become more and more important, George. That's why seminars they're going to increase manyfold in the next few years. These healing seminars, this coming together, this gathering people talk about, the second coming of Christ consciousness is another way to look at this. What we're really doing now is immersing each other in this higher order energy without even knowing it, most of us, and we're preparing ourselves for this collective near-death experience, which is in reality a shift into global consciousness.
All right, back to the phones we go. Jeff in Dayton, Ohio, you're on the air east of the Rockies.
Hi, John. Hi, George.
Hey, Jeff.
Thanks for having me on.
Good morning.
Morning. It's funny that just a few minutes ago you had mentioned something about the third eye. That's actually one of the reasons why I called in. You're talking about the energy that's traveling through the solar system that can cause the shift. First off, I don't know if you're aware, but a few years ago there was the beautiful spires, water spires coming out from, I think it was Enceladus, the moon of Saturn. And then just recently, a couple days ago, I was reading that Jupiter had formed a third eye. And I was just wondering if maybe we are seeing some things in the solar system happening now that could relate to the 2012 shift.
Well, yes, absolutely. What we're seeing is this energy, how it spirals into these hyperdimensional realms, and that we see it visible, like what you're talking about, this new solar storm on Jupiter, and this ongoing hundreds-of-year-old storm, this vortex, this tornado, this hurricane that's of immense proportions on Jupiter. And yes, and we're seeing this in a smaller way step down at our level. And again, what George was talking about with the pyramids, that, in my opinion, is what the ancients knew, and they tapped that energy. They used those pyramids to basically resonate with this higher dimensional physics, which gave them health, for example. It put out a beam, you might say, of life force energy in that community, as well as it tapped the earth force and stabilized that region from earthquakes, for instance.
Right. And the other thing I wanted to ask real quick, if I could, is
Sure.
Is it possible that a person could have kind of like a conscious near-death experience, that they don't no